What's the matter, trainer? You lost your way or something? Oh, you looked for this game. Alright, well, allow me to fill you in on this game. So, going by the wiki, released in August 1st, 1998, Japan only, was the first way to see your Game Boy Pokemon 3D and in action. It was intended to gradually add more content via 64 dual disc drive until it failed and they just released Pocket Monster Stadium 2. And then what we are most familiar with, Pokemon Stadium. That game did not release in Japan until April 30th, 1999, and about a year later, we didn't get it in North America until March 6, 2000. Pocket Monster Stadium was developed by Nintendo HAL Laboratory, unlike the sequel being developed by Nintendo EAD. So yeah, it took a little bit for us to get situated with Stadium. As far as development goes, I'm just going off by like what you see on the screen here. Scroll down a little bit. I'm really not familiar with like who exactly was in the teams going from both games, but yeah. So now going a little off script here, we'll break down all the modes. See right as you saw in the icon. Well, I'm covering it, but actually you can still see it. I'm guessing this is the options menu. Maybe you could change the stereo, mono sound, maybe delete save data. Maybe even turn the announcer off. I'm not just estimated guess, nothing too crazy. POS version 1.0, like you can tell it's like a whole different version, right? So this is the main stadium mode. If you could kind of see in those little frames that they go in the upper left and upper right corner, like basically everything on the side is all Game Boy extra stuff. I'm sure you could like organize your items in your Pokemon, your register. This is how you register your Pokemon as well. Probably trade to yourself to evolve Pokemon stuff. Basically, most of the same stuff you could do in Stadium and the future on. On the left there, I know for sure that's the Pokedex. Why I don't have footage of myself for this. This is the only way you could have seen the rest of your 3D Pokemon, except maybe a little bit in the credits, because there's only about 33 or 40, depending which cup, of Pokemon you could actually use. So you could see them in 3D. Some look horrible. You know, they changed. Some had minor changes. For example, Clefairy flapping its wings. I think maybe Starmie moving the back of its star, its back, but that might have been in Stadium as well. But they definitely have different idle animations in this game. If you ever looked up this game, you'll see Needle King, for example, having a completely different sprite. He's not the only one, but he's one of the only ones to have a different sprite in tournament modes. And then, yeah, so I would urge somebody to look up that in the Pokedex on YouTube. Just skim through to see if you can find some differences. I'm not going to go over all of them here. I do have a reaction video of that, so but I think it was like Shadow Mario 3 or something like that. And then as you can see in the bottom left corner, that purple, it says GB. This was how you could play Game Boy on the big screen with your transfer pack. You play, I believe, green or red version, Japan, and you could actually unlock Doduo mode and Dodrio mode. The way I did it was beating Nintendo Cup 98 Master Ball. That's how you lock Doduo, or how I did it. And then once you beat Nintendo Cup 97, then you unlock the Dodrio mode. But I'm not sure if you beat Nintendo Cup, if there's like a certain order to which cups you beat to still get, just maybe you could skip right to Dodrio. It might not matter, but just take my word for it. The main game modes, if you have rental or what you really came for, is free battle on the left, and what I want to say is tournament mode, which has the Nintendo Cup 98, which is level 1 through 30, and Nintendo Cup 97, which is the hardest mode in this game by far. are 50 to 55. That's kind of like the stadiums. If you played Stadium, you'll know that, like, you know, if you have 2 low 55s, the rest of the team has to be exactly 50, and you can only use one of those low 55s if you really want to. I'm not gonna go in detail with like the math and stuff. Free battle, I believe this is sort of a, yeah, the 6 means it's a anything goes, and then the other 2 modes, you could register your Pokemon, or you could use your registered Pokemon for all these, or rentals. But this is probably like what you would do with a friend, because the only way you can do a 6-on-6 in this game. And despite being 4 players, or how the game says 4 players, you can only do 1-on-1. You can also just, you know, mess with the computer too. But you could put a cartridge as your avatar. This is a cool thing right here. Or you could pick these different trainers that see. You got the Burglar Nerd, Bug Catcher, Junior Female, Junior Male, I forget, a Youngster maybe, I forget, Glass, Bird Keeper. I think that might be all of them. There's only like 8 trainers. Maybe I miscounted 1 or something. But yeah, I wish they would have done that for sequel games. Like, it gives off a little more personality. I think it wasn't until Gen 4, if you think about the mainline games, where you could be a different trainer somehow. I don't know if it was in Platinum or even in Diamond and Pearl, when you do multi or link battles online or locally, you would show up as a different trainer, I believe. And I could be wrong. And then Pokemon Battle Revolution, you know, you could edit your trainer card and your just aesthetic. Choose which kind of trainer, although a little limited, but with which trainer you could actually be. But the outfits were very customized. Those are a huge variety. And then we'll get into the Nintendo Cup. I think we covered these already. Well, I didn't go through this. You got Pokeball through Master Ball, which I had a lot. And then low 50 to 55 division, low 98, which doesn't really show up, but I have beaten it. I don't know if the cartridge before I did beat it. But yeah, that's pretty much the main game mode. So starting with the game modes again, this is Nintendo Cup's 98 whole roster, whole legal Pokemon with a grand total of 33 Pokemon. And then you got the Nintendo Cup 97, well, 50 to 55. And just a little extra, with 40 Pokemon being the 3 starters now show up, the 3 legendary birds, and Dragonite. Not a lot of Pokemon here, however, if you played Pocket Monster Stadium 2, you'd be a little familiar with the Nintendo Cup 98 format. And going on script here again, if you notice in the video, I'm going to go on and off script, so just bear with me. A deep dive in tournament mode. In this game, there are no continues. OST for the battles may be a little different compared to Pocket Monster Stadium 2, but for the most part, I can't tell aside from the additional themes like the win theme, intro before battle, and credits, for example. Like, yeah, there's a win theme in this game, just like the Game Boy games. There's an intro before battle sort of theme that's different from the Stadium games, and then the credits are like a mixture of a bunch of Game Boy events, I'll say. The script here again. As I mentioned before, Pokemon animations might be different. Yep. Move animations are pretty much the same. For example, Withdraw just looks bad. These are a few exceptions. Slash and Cut are like reversed animations in this game. They're not like played in reverse, but I mean like they're switched. And the biggest part in all of this aesthetically is the camera angle delay in the moves. You'll notice almost every move is slower compared to Sweet Sequel, and you can really kill more time if you add it all up. This may take a while to get used to. Yeah, so lack of continues. That makes it challenging. I guess, you know, they're first starting off, and then maybe in Stadium they're like, okay, maybe that was a little bit too hard, which I agree with. That is the way to go, and they kept it on going because it allows like all skill levels to get more involved. Um, the animations, yeah, like the camera angles are interesting, but if only they could have had more time, I guess, to like, you know, maybe keep some of those camera angles while not taking like a huge delay, because you'll definitely notice the delay. It definitely extended gameplay. And this version has to keep red, blue, yellow game mechanics, and if you're not familiar with it, that means it's different than the sequel. For example, Hyper Beam doesn't recharge if it misses or faints the Pokemon, sort of like recoil moves. Sorry to those in advance, actually, right now before I go off script again. If you're already familiar with the red, blue, yellow, maybe do Pokemon Showdown or watch them, then this is already like not news to you at all. But I'm just, you know, kind of get into the heads of everybody who's just used to Stadium and stuff like I was. Toxic's buns in the game because you switch out your status goes from badly poison to just poison, so that sucks. As I mentioned, Hyper Beam, if you whiff or kill the fate the Pokemon, excuse me, then you don't need a recharge. That's really broken. Perhaps it's just my bad luck, but I think the chances of paralyzing with Body Slam were lower in this game. It just felt like that. Double Team as well seems way more effective in this game. That's just what it felt like. I looked around, I heard that like Double Team was like banned in future tournaments and stuff like that, and they didn't want to deal with it, which makes sense. I guess they didn't want to deal too much with the stall game in that method. I guess Toxic doesn't take as long. I don't know. I guess it was just like more frowned upon, but I feel like it was a low-key nerf. I don't know, maybe it's just my experience. And Substitute status moves go right through it. Or not right through it, but it doesn't like absorb Thunder Wave or Hypnosis for you. You will still be affected by status moves. Before we get into the difficulty, which is a really long section, I just want to mention one. I feel like there's more crowd cheers in this game, or at least it's different. It feels like there's more crowd sound effects. They kind of have disappointing, like, yells, I guess I'll call it. Maybe when you get KO'd or something. And then, once you get in the semifinals, it's more of a sunset. And then finals, it's just nighttime, which that nighttime looks really cool. Like, playing in the dark, that's awesome. There's no weather move in Stadium 2 and stuff like that, where, like, it makes it completely dark. I don't think you see that kind of setting until maybe Gen 3. But anyways, I'm going on script again. As far as difficulty goes, you may have heard this game starts off as round 2, which the Nintendo Cup 97 low 50 or 55 division gets that difficulty for sure, which I made through with rentals was nothing but good luck. But more on that later. The Nintendo Cup 98, I would still consider it a round 2 level, but an Ultra Ball difficulty. So that means like it isn't as bad, you know. It's easier. It's definitely easier in comparison. It's not like the easiest thing in the game, but it's not such degree of like really high difficulty like that. I don't know. It's kind of in between, you know. The last round only feels like Master Ball, say, if the opposing Tauros is out. So talking about the finals, and I'll talk about that later. We'll discuss the final team after a little bit. But other than that, just like the rest of the cup, the AI likes to throw the weirdest moves that you wouldn't see in a round 2, like Growl, Sand Attack, Flash. Many times in the finals, like the Fulls, Jolteon, yeah, will throw Sand Attack. Sometimes the AI likes to start up setting up with Toxic, which is already 85 accuracy in itself. And it sucks in this version is how it can be countered with the Switch. Yep. Or for example, Jinx likes to use Lovely Kiss first turn, which you can miss as well, 75 accuracy. Even if it's more optimal to just go for a more offensive attack like Blizzard that could one-shot me. AI can go for screen moves, I mean light screen, reflect. And even I believe the Finals Master Ball, Gengar kept going for Hypnosis and Dream Eater combos most of the time. The Gengar, I think I mixed this up with the level 50, 55 division until Cup 97. But pretty much, yeah, a lot of CPU aren't the most optimal. Like, way more times than that, like 80% of the time at least. You also see their switch habits and patterns, which, at least Nintendo Cups 98, go all the way to like Ultra Ball. They don't switch as often, and you could just pick up their pattern. Like, they only switch so much. Maybe if you throw in a ground type on an electric type and they really got nothing to do, they might try to set up with like a double team, toxic, try to throw an attack, and then switch after. So you get a couple free hits in. But Master Ball, they tend to switch a little faster, like how you would know Pokemon Stadium, you know, the sequel to this game. But yeah, the AI doesn't abuse switching like the sequel does. Sometimes stay a couple turns. It wasn't that crazy of a pattern once you start to pick things up. Starting off, it does seem intimidating with the teams and stuff. But in every ball mode, they really have the same exact team. There's very, very minor differences, especially in the beginning. Like Pokeball, they might have like a low-level like they had a level 5 Pikachu that they will send out in Pokeball. But then later, you know, the bug catcher or tamer, whatever he is, would get a little harder, and he would have Executor, which he used most of the time. But once you get through like the Executor, his team isn't too bad. He does have decent Pokemon too, like Pinsir and Scyther. The point is, every single time, like, you think, since it already starts off in round 2 in the Pokeball level, Great Ball all the way to Master Ball is going to be a miracle, right? In a sense, yes, but not what you're thinking of, because they have pretty much, like I said, the same exact team, like, for every single Pokeball Cup. The only thing is, the AI just, like, increases difficulty just by, like I said, it is very little. Movesets are mostly the same. You just have to get a feel for it, but it really isn't that much different. That's why I said they're kind of on like Ultra Ball difficulty, because it doesn't really exceed that Master Ball level until the finals, if that. I'm not saying the finals is easy at all, it's not, but it's not that bad. I think I'm just gonna get into the rentals in a second. So now we are on the rental side of things. If you're gonna play rentals and not use your Game Boy Pokemon, which is the easiest and quickest way to get situated in this cup, we'll just go in order. Beedrill, probably Twin Needle. I really don't know what else it has. I think it even has Harden. I was doing rental randomizer, so I always suck getting him. I'll never use him. Fearow, not too bad. It's got great speed, fly, mirror move, drill peck. I'm not sure what the other move is. He would take out the likes of maybe, or he would help against Machamp. Could do decent damage on the Gengar, Alakazam. I'm not sure if it would outspeed it. Primeape, if your computer player actually happens to have it. Do decent damage on the Executor. Scyther wasn't really seen that much, same with Pinsir, but at least the bug catcher would have him. Would do decent number on Chansey. But Fearow was like not the worst Pokemon, but I'm not sure if it was the best rentals. Pikachu doesn't even have Surf, unfortunately. Hopefully you don't end up with that if you do a rental randomizer. I don't even recommend a rental randomizer. Nidoqueen, see in this game, I'd say almost any ground type except Golem, but we'll get to him, is a good ground type. Because they really shut out and counter electric Pokemon, and electric Pokemon in this cup often get used. So, you don't, as long as you have a ground type, you should be pretty good. It has Earthquake, Toxic, which you don't really need. I wouldn't say rest. And I honestly forget its last move. It might be Rock Slide or Body Slam. A lot of Pokemon have Body Slam, but I'm hazy with some of the side moves. But yeah, it just might have Body Slam. Nidoking's, I would say, is slightly better. I think of his higher speed, which could make a difference sometimes. I honestly forget where exactly all the stats go, but Earthquake, Thunder, I want to say it has Body Slam somewhere, which that could help as well. Dunk Trio, basically, what is it, an electric counter? Ooh, you even see like a little bit of lag in the in the idle animation, which a lot of this game is like, you can notice it, but I'm not sure what other moves it has. I want to say it doesn't have Rock Slide. I think its main moves here are Slash and Earthquake. The color coding of this makes it harder as well. Pocket Monster Stadium 2 wasn't too bad. We're trying to figure out the typing the moves and stuff, but yeah, this game was a little funky. Primate, you don't want to get him. Even if he had the best moves on him, he's not good. Arcanine, Fire Blast, I'm not sure what the rest is, but Arcanine is a good Pokemon because it can take main threats, which are Executor and Jinx in this game, which often appear a lot, do neutral damage on Lapras, and I guess you're standing like toe-to-toe with fire types. Alakazam, I want to say it has Psybeam and Seismic Toss. Maybe Reflect, but I don't recall, and perhaps even Headbutt. So it's okay. Could be better. Sucks it doesn't have Psychic. The Champ's move pool is just, it doesn't, I'm pretty sure it doesn't even have Submission, but even if it did have Submission, I don't know. I want to say it doesn't have Submission. It might be just a low kick or something. Doesn't have a good moveset. Golem doesn't have a good moveset either. It doesn't even have a ground type. I think it might just have Rock Slide. But it is way better to have like a ground move, even if it was Dig, than Rock Slide. Rock Slide is just okay, but you can only do so much. Magneton, I think it has Thunderbolt. It's supposed to thunder. But it really doesn't have too much going for it. Lack of Thunder Wave sucks. Kind of want Electric move plus Thunder Wave. It has Supersonic or something. Cloyster, if I remember right, it's not good either. It's got like kind of the same set as what is it, Pika Cup Pokemon Stadium, if you remember that. So it's like Aurora Beam, Bubble, or Clamp. It doesn't even have Bubble Beam. I'm pretty sure it's just Clamp. This is your main move, Aurora Beam. Withdraw is up C. I think right C is just I don't know. Honestly, I forget what kind of filler move that is, but it's not good. Oh, Supersonic, which has off accuracy. I think accuracy is like 55. Lack of self-destruct and like Ice Beam and stuff like that really hurts. Gengar, not the best. That's the only psychic move it has is Hypnosis. Up C is Lick. Right C is Confuse Ray. And down C is Nightshade. And being level 30, it doesn't do a lot of damage. A really gimmicky, unreliable Pokemon. Even if you were trying to gamble Confuse Ray and Hypnosis, it just take too long. Onix, you can get by with this Pokemon for sure. Like I said, most ground Pokemon are pretty good Pokemon, except maybe Golem. Hypno, definitely one of the best rentals here, carrying Psychic, Toxic, Headbutt, and I want to say Disable, which you don't really need to use. But Psychic has a 1 in 3 chance of lowering the opponent's special. If you didn't know, that's really good. Electro, very, very fast Pokemon, and probably the fastest in this rule set. Only problem is it's only really 100% accuracy move is self-destruct. but that in itself is a great move to finish the opponent off or before you go. But then the other attacking move is Thunder, which that has a low accuracy of, I believe, 70? Could be 75, I don't recall. I want to say 70. The stab and stuff, it's going to pack a punch, but just to rely on that, I think it has light screen and double team, which you don't really need double team, but double team is a really good move in this game. It just doesn't work too great with Electro most of the time, but you might be in a situation where you need it. Exeggutor, just a, I don't want to say a bad Pokemon. Like, it could tank hits and stuff, but you're only going to do so much. It has Toxic, which again, Toxic in this game, if you switch, it goes from badly poison to just poison. They're literally taking like 2 to 5 damage each turn. So that hurts it. Hypnosis, a double status move. That was more for like big brain player versus player plays. I don't think it's that effective in its AI. Like really specific movesets. It has Stomp and Egg Bomb. Egg Bomb doesn't even have 100% accuracy. The accuracy is not the greatest. So you're hoping to get by with like Stomp and Hypnosis probably. Probably if you end up with him, you have to go against, or you want to go against, I don't know, maybe like ground types. Or Alakazam, like just go toe to toe with another Psychic type. Another Exeggutor, etc. But it's just not a good Pokemon, probably not worth your time. Chansey, 0 special moves, doesn't even have Soft Boiled. If I think that's it, or if I'm right, it's even in this game. Its main category is special and doesn't even run any special moves. Kangaskhan is decent. I believe it has Body Slam, Earthquake, maybe Dizzy Punch, but I don't recall. And Thunderbolt in no particular order. Thunderbolt could go against the water types decently. Earthquake. The only thing is, like, its special isn't the greatest. With a special 38. And I think it mostly can get 2-shotted. I mean, sometimes it can take 3 hits. I think it has decent speed. It's a decent Pokemon, but it could be better. It's not the worst. Starmie. Excuse me. Now we have, like, in my opinion, the best Pokemon in here. Not by itself. Not like it could sweep everything by itself. It needs other Pokemon complemented. But if you could get Starmie in the later game to set up, because I believe it has Tackle, Bubble Beam, Recover, and Double Team. Which Tackle you only use once you got your setups going. So you basically want to use Double Team maybe if you switch in on a water type or something. A Pokemon needs to recharge from Hyper Beam, etc. Right? And then you recover, or just keep going for Double Teams, because Double Team is very good in this game. It is consistent, unlike Pokemon Stadium where like you can have 6 Double Teams and it doesn't take that long to get a hit in, right? Bubble Beam can slow the opponent down, but yeah, once you get a Double Team Starmie and it has Recover in this, so all set up, you are pretty you're gonna have pretty good luck and pretty likely to win with Starmie. Just sweep. You switch between Tackle and Bubble Beam after that. Scyther, really nothing I can recall about this Pokemon, to be honest with you. I know that's toxic, but I feel like you can hardly put it in because it's just weak to everything. Ice, electric, fire, rock. And they're either going to KO it before it could even set it up. It might have Swords Dance, it might have Hyper Beam, but I don't know. I didn't explore into it too much. Jinx, it's literally sideways, that psychic move you see. It is not good at all, this Pokemon, or this rental. The Thrash, probably its best move, if it's even there, is Lovely Kiss. I'm not even sure if it's there or not. It might just be. And then maybe like Mega Punch. And for this Pokemon, excelling in special and not really attack, like it's either 44 or 35. Yeah, not good. unfortunately. Pinsir was almost decent. It has Vice Grip instead of Slash. Power is only 50. I think it can flinch, but Seismic Toss, Guillotine, and Swords Dance. So you basically want to try and set up Swords Dance and just keep Vice Gripping, or maybe finish it off with Seismic Toss in between. But in a game where you have no continues, Guillotine is like very useless. So I go for that. If it just had Hyper Beam, it would have actually been good in this game because all you will need is Hyper Beam. You could sweep. Tauros, I think it just has maybe Bubble Beam or Surf and Stomp. I don't know what the other two moves are. It's probably like Rage and Growl or Thrash, but those moves are bad in my opinion in this game. Tauros is not. It's really not that good. Gyarados either has Surf or Bubble Beam. I want to say Bubble Beam, Dragon Rage, and I'm not familiar with the other moves it has. I think he's not the worst, but being that weak to electric Pokemon, probably want another water. Lapras, just like really bad. I don't even think that's Ice Beam. I think it's just Mist. It has Water Gun. Can you believe that? Water Gun. Sing and Body Slam. Now, the one thing that Lapras has going for him, or I guess a couple of days, is being able to take hits and Body Slam. If it's resistant to Body Slam, you probably just want to use Water Gun. But you're going to hope to at least paralyze something and then set it up for your next Pokemon. But, you know, paralyzing in this game, just not as lucky to get. Because I'll go like 5 to 6 turns of nothing but body slams before I could get paralysis. And Ditto, don't need to talk about him, just transform. Vaporeon, I think really it just has Bubble Beam and Quick Attack, so not even Surf or Hydro Pump, despite having Hydro Special or Acid Armor, which I feel it needs. I don't think it has Double Team or anything like that. This Jolteon is so weak, no Thunder Wave, just Thunder Shock. Like, really awful Pokemon. I hope I'm not mistaking it with the Nintendo Cup 97, but I don't think I am, because I remember the Evolutions being pretty bad. Flareon, I think it has Fire Blast going for it, maybe Double Edge and or Body Slam, just maybe. It might be Takedown, but that's your main move is Fire Blast. Let me just double check. Yeah. So at least Flareon wasn't hit that hard. I guess Fire Element isn't like super broken. It is useful, or I guess they didn't see it as super broken because you're only really hitting hard the bug Pokemon, which aren't really taken as seriously. It's like maybe you should take Pinsir and Scyther, like they could set up with Swords Dance. Executor and Jinx are definitely pretty good threats. Now Aerodactyl, the better flying Pokemon between him and Fearow. The only flying Pokemon. There's only so many flying Pokemon in the game. It's funny how the Bird Keeper, you know, what his team will look like. Anyways, Fly on the bottom. I think it writes Agility. And then it has Takedown, which is just okay. And honestly, I cannot remember the other move. It could be Supersonic, although I don't think it is. It might just, I think it just has Rage, which is very useless. So Fly you can hit decently. It has good speed. You could hit most Pokemon decently with a couple hits. It helps against the bug Pokemon and Executor. And just maybe even Chansey a little bit. Yeah, like I said, it's probably the better Pokemon between the two. Resist normal moves, but he's just okay. It would have been better with Earthquake. And one of the other best Pokemons in the game is Snorlax. Really, Only two things going for is body slam and the occasional rest. If you think you could maybe stall somebody out, get lucky after you paralyze them, and you don't think they're gonna switch or something like that. But he could take a lot of hits. The most important thing about him is that he could take, I guess, Tauros hyper beam, a Tauros crit hyper beam at that. So he get like a couple shots to paralyze Tauros, or at least do some decent damage. And that about wraps up the rentals in this game and death. So Master Ball, or not Master Ball, but Nintendo Cup 98. I'm going to talk about the final team, which is the same every single round, even in Pokeball pretty much. In Pokeball, they don't even pull their punches. But thankfully, the difficulty doesn't really get that much higher than that for the rest of the ball difficulty modes. So I know it sounds kind of weird, but starting with the dreaded Tauros, you might make it all the way to the final round, perfect wins, and then you happen to make it a Tauros who runs Hyper Beam, which his stats are really good. He's going to hit you hard either way, whether it's Hyper Beam, and combined with his high crit ratio. If he faints you, then he gets to attack again. It has Blizzard for the rock and ground types, just in case it could survive Earthquake for 2 or 3 hits. And also, like I said, Earthquake. So he'll hit electric types pretty hard. I'm not sure if he'll one-hit him, but yeah. You'll one-shot Gengar, so if you're hoping to take, his low special hits with Gengar, which is a good strategy, and take a Hyper Beam, good luck with that. I don't think, however, he's faster than Gengar, but he might be the way the IV, he's like on a speed tie. He probably is. But he's not outspeeding Electrode, and that's why, Electrode's a good pick against Tauros. So I'd say, here's the strat I would do. Body Slam with Snorlax, because Snorlax, like I said before, would eat a crit Hyper Beam and still survive. Then you got a couple shots to hit him with Body Slam. Hopefully you paralyze him, get a 3-shot. And if not, then hopefully Electrode can get that lucky Thunder, which is a decent chance that it will be successful. And we'll talk about the next Pokemon on the team, which isn't too bad, but the final trainer's Doug Trio, which is usually runs Earthquake, maybe has Slash, and I think it likes to mess around with like Growl, Sand Attack, Double Team sometimes. Maybe less on Double Team, but it's not too bad depending the team you have. Gengar, pretty commonly. Well, actually, we won't even get Gengar. We'll go to Starmie, which is decently used. I think it runs Psychic, Blizzard, Thunderbolt. Thankfully, it doesn't have Thunderbolt and Recover, so you don't have to worry about Surf at least. Maybe if you run like a Rock Ground type. See, I got very lucky with 2 Blizzards missing, I think. Or maybe it was just 1. I don't recall. And I just used Explosion on the Starmie for it. I don't remember which ball, since, again, run pretty much the same exact team every single time. Not even really switching up Pokemon like you think it would. Maybe it's for good reason, since there's only so much Pokemon in the first place. But yeah, this Starmie could be a lot worse if it had Thunder Wave back in. Which it does in Pika Cup Route 2, but we're not going to talk about that. So that's another threat you have to worry about for your maybe Pokemon this week against Psychic, or just getting your special dropped. Hopefully it doesn't. Or a Pokemon that's weak with Blizzard. You have to watch out for that. We'll talk about his Gengar, which is iffy. Sometimes it goes for Psychic. Again, the AI isn't always optimal all the time. Sometimes it goes for Hypnosis, which you're in luck because that has a pretty good chance of missing, into a Dream Eater combo. Again, I might be mistaken with Nintendo Cups 97, one of the trainers, but Gengar's not too bad, although it could take a lot of special hits. But at least it doesn't have ice attacks, so you could take on Gengar. You're probably most ground types, so most likely you have a ground type, and you could take out Gengar. So ground type, yeah, is pretty decent against his team once you take out Tauros, because the next Pokemon I'm going to mention is Jolteon. And Jolteon just gets shut out by a ground type. It's going to resort to Flash and Sand Attack as well. Maybe some Double Team since it can't hit you with Thunder Wave. It might use Toxic even. It just depends. I don't know. Like I said, the move pool is hazy. Toxic would be great if it tries to Toxic into Double Team or lower your accuracy. If you have Nidoqueen or running Nidoking. And the least commonly used, although used more in Pokeball, is Gyarados. Or if you have something like Electrode, easy peasy as long as Thunder hits, right? Then it has Dragon Rage, Surf, Hyper Beam, and it's between Blizzard and Thunderbolt. I feel like it has Thunderbolt just for other water types. But yeah, the main threat is mostly that Tauros, and I think that covers mostly everything for that cup.